Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Investing Kev. This is going to be another quick video. Even though I know there are hundreds of videos and articles about Alibaba today, I still want to talk about this. I just released a Bilibili Q3 report and thoughts video yesterday night, so feel free to check that out if you're interested in the company. If you like this content, please help me grow this channel by liking this video, subscribing, and let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, let's get right into it. In the third quarter, Alibaba saw total revenues go up 29% year over year. If you exclude Sun Art, they still saw 16% year over year growth. Their China commerce grew 30% year over year, their international commerce grew 34% year over year, and their cloud computing grew 33% year over year. What amazes me about Alibaba is their annual active consumers. They are currently at 1.24 billion global annual active consumers. From Q2 to Q3, they added 62 million people. There are currently 953 million people in China who are annual active consumers. When we take a look at internationally, there are currently 285 million people. If you look at their profitability, their adjusted EBITDA was at 28 billion RMB. This is a decline of 13.2 billion RMB year over year, which is a 32% decrease compared to Q3 of last year. On the flip side, if you look at their key strategic investments within commerce, they had 19 billion RMB. That is a 12.6 billion RMB increase year over year from Q3 of last year. If you look at the footnotes, Alibaba stated that the year over year decrease in profitability was primarily due to increased investments in key strategic areas that have exhibited robust growth in operations as well as support to merchants. This is what the CEO of Alibaba had to say. This quarter, Alibaba continued to firmly invest into our three strategic pillars of domestic consumption, globalization, and cloud computing to establish solid foundations for our long-term goal of sustainable growth in the future. Our global annual active consumers across the Alibaba ecosystem reached approximately 1.24 billion, and we are on track to achieve our longer-term target of serving 2 billion consumers globally. Reaching 2 billion people as our goal, that is pretty incredible. There are currently 7.7 billion people in this world. If Alibaba were to ever reach that goal, they would be pretty much at 25% of the world's population within the Alibaba ecosystem. This is what I think about Alibaba. The Chinese middle class is growing. These lower tier cities that Alibaba is expanding to, their purchasing power of each citizen will grow over time as the years go on. With more money comes an ability to purchase more and spend more. That bodes well domestically, especially with the government aiming to close the wealth gap. Internationally, they're growing their brands in Europe and Asia. Those countries in Asia in the coming years will grow their GDPs. With that, their citizens' GDPs will hopefully grow with it. It is up to their governments to do what is right and do what is best for their citizens. With Alibaba growing their China logistics and networking, they'd be able to anticipate that growth and handle the growing volume. When I look at the revenue breakdown by segment, I see very little single-digit growth numbers. I see a lot of double-digit growth numbers, which is great to see. You have China commerce retail growing 33% year over year compared to Q3 of 2020. You have their international commerce retail growing 33%. You can see the China logistics services growing 20%, their cloud computing growing 33%, and their innovation initiatives and others growing 37%. When I think about Alibaba, I think of e-commerce, cloud computing, and logistics. I want to take a look at some industry-specific projections. The first one is e-commerce. This is from eMarketer. In 2024, they're projecting that retail e-commerce sales in China will reach $3.5 trillion. That is a huge projection, and that ties back to the rising middle class alongside the government aiming to close a wealth gap in the country focusing on common prosperity. The second is cloud computing. The global cloud computing industry is expected to grow from $371.4 billion in 2020 to over $832.1 billion by 2025. This is a compound annual growth rate of 17.5%. The last one is logistics. The Chinese logistics industry is expected to generate revenues worth 15 trillion RMB by 2025, a compound annual growth rate of 7.5% from 2020 to 2025. And just recently, Alibaba and JD smashed single day's record with a $139 billion worth of sales. Alibaba said gross merchandise volume, also known as GMV, during the 11-day period totaled 540.3 billion yuan, which is $84.5 billion, more than an 8% jump from last year's 498.2 billion yuan. They also had to say this: we also leveraged the power of 11/11 as a platform to fulfill our social responsibility. This year's festival was a meaningful milestone as part of our commitment towards building a sustainable future. In looking at their guidance, they expect their fiscal year 2022 revenue to grow between 20% to 23% year over year. Whether it's commerce, cloud computing, or logistics, these are all industries Alibaba is heavily focused in and are continuing to expand. This company is still growing, and their focus is currently on sustainability. Competition is going to remain high, there's no doubt about it. No matter how great a company sounds, it ultimately falls on their management team to guide them to realize their potential and execute their vision. The responsibility falls on Alibaba. It falls on them to not break any laws, to focus on proper data collection and privacy, to adhere to international laws, and to continue to focus on common prosperity, aligning their company vision with the government's vision. Right now, Alibaba's stock price is at $143.60. They dropped $18 today, which is an 11% drop. I'm in this stock for the long term, so I will continue to dollar cost average through the highs and lows. I really like their Q3 earnings report. They saw double-digit growth in their core pillars, and they're expected to see 20 to 23% growth in fiscal year 2022. I will absolutely take that every single time. I really like this company, but I am fully aware that there are risk factors that may hinder their growth prospects. I'm excited to see what the future of the stock holds, and I hope that someday we are rewarded. I like the e-commerce future projections, I like the cloud computing projections, and the logistics and networking will always be the main backbones of pretty much any country out there in the world. There you have it, everyone. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, stay safe, and I will see you all next time.